Hi, this is Chick Shane Mosley, and you're watching True School Sports.
All right. Just shameless plug. Go down the comment section, all right? You'll see it. And go to the official True School Sports merch store to get yourself a hoodie like this or a tank top like this. It's great stuff. If you get one of these True School Sports shirts, I guarantee you, your success with women will quadruple. Guaranteed. Not all punches are created equal.
No. You know, Nate Campbell, my boy Nate Campbell, he used to fucking, oh my God. He would rip up the middle in that body so hard. I've never been hit so hard in my life.
He was a killer.
A killer. You know, I was 17 and one of the local promoters was telling me like, hey Jeff, you know, let's just turn you pro, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck this amateur shit. And I go to Nate and I'm like, Nate, you know, I'm gonna turn pro with this promoter. I don't want to put his name out. And Nate was like, no the fuck you're not. And I was like, what you talking about, man? He's like, no, man, stay in the amateurs, you know, this, that, and the other thing, you know, grow into your body, this, that. And I'm like, Nate, I'm turning pro, I don't care. And he's like, all right, let's go. Put on the gloves. You know what I'm saying? Let's spar. He's like, if you can bet, and I mean, this is like Kid Diamond Nate Campbell, like prime Nate Campbell. He's banging at this time. And I'm 17, I'm good too. So he's like, yo, tomorrow we'll spar, and I'll tell you whatever, if you can do it or not. I'm like, bet. We go to the gym the next day. I come out, I'm ready to whoop his ass. Boy. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna show Nate, because you gotta remember, I've known Nate a long time. He's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And I come out, and I mean, I'm like, I'm here, you know, I got fast hands. I hit him with like a jab hook right hand, like right off rip too, like bah, 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 you know, amateur style just. And Nate goes, okay, motherfucker. Boom, boom. Drops me literally first two shots. Just lines me up with that long jab, right up the middle. Boom, boom. Just fucking sunk me, bro. And made me just get brutalized for like 4 rounds. And yeah, man. Learned 2 things that day. I wasn't turning pro at 17, and ripped those body shots up the middle.
Right up the middle.
No, Nate was a certified killer, bro.
How do you think he would think against Pacquiao? Because I remember people.
Who, Nate?
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something about Nate. Nate, by the time he got to where he needed to be, he was already way past his prime.
Yeah.
You know, Nate didn't even have his first amateur fight till he was 26.
Oh shit.
When I met Nate, he was like, when Nate was at 130, 126, like around those times, he was just brutalizing everybody they put. I mean, I saw him spar light heavyweights and drop them like. He was just a brutal... As
a 130 pounder?
130 pounder.
Jeez.
And he'd walk around at 130. He was brutal. By the time he became a world champion, he was already like 35, 36 years old.
Yeah.
He was past his prime. Like, at 130, when Nate, you know, you know, obviously, you know, the Robbie Peden thing, you know what I mean? If that would have... And Nate was killing Robbie Peden in that fight. Robbie was done. Like, if people go back and watch that fight, Nate was just destroying him. He was breaking him down. He had Robbie out, and then he just, you know, what he did. And, you know, if that would have went a different way, at that point in his life, oh, you know what? Let me take that back. The thing that messed Nate up was when they robbed him against Casamayor. And a lot of people don't remember this, is that Casamayor at that time was like the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He was like the #1 guy. No, he was right there.
He was a guy that people wanted to see Floyd fight.
He was right there. And freaking, he fought Nate, and that was Nate's first big fight. It was on HBO. And Nate beat his ass. Even HBO had Nate winning like 7 rounds to 3 or something like that. And they robbed him. And
The Galaxy Warrior.
The Galaxy
They robbed him a bunch of times.
They robbed him in that.
I was surprised he beat Diaz. I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
Nate was that caliber fighter.
No, Nate was gonna kill. Like, Nate went into that Diaz fight like, one of us is gonna die in here tonight. You know what I'm saying?
And it's
like,
not gonna be me.
Didn't he say that? He said that, right?
That's
before the
exactly
fight.
what
He was like, Or no, he was like, all night. He said it when the ref told him to touch the gloves. He was like, all night, I'm gonna be in your ass. That's the kind of guy Nate is too, man. Nate's he's a very tough guy to begin with. You know what I'm saying? He's the kind of guy that's always like, you don't want to stand near him because he'll just like punch you or fucking hit you in the body. You're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Just for fun.
Yeah, because he wants to fight. He doesn't care where.
Is he still like that to this day?
Yes.
Oh.
What are you talking about? If you were interviewing him, he would have already probably hit you or tapped you like 3 or 4 times.
Ain't no sucker.
Yeah.
Ain't no sucker.
That's a man who truly loves to fight.
And he knows his shit when it comes to
He
fighting.
knows his shit, man. Old school guy. Definitely one of the best fighters that's ever come out of Florida.
He's one of those old school Florida warriors who were like
Old school.
Because me and you were talking about the Florida club shows and how things are like different
He's
now.
one of the last guys that really changed his life on his own. You know, didn't get signed by a big promoter, fought his way through fucking strip clubs and outdoor rodeos and shit, all the way to a world title. Real talk.
Respect.
You know, fought his way. I think his first fight was in a strip club in Georgia or some shit. You know, rodeo. You know, event centers, Bournemouth. You know, like shit like that, all the way to a world title, man. You know, you gotta. That shit's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for a couple $100, older, didn't turn pro till he was 29.
I'm sure there wasn't TV for most of those fights. For a lot of those fights. The earlier ones maybe.
You know, actually, I think his first TV fight was against a Panamanian that I think, was Victor Abadia Panamanian? I think he might have been. And, nah, man, Nate was a real, he was a bad dude, man. The people that know. You know what I'm saying?
Boxing family, we give that man his respect. We salute him.
Yeah.
You might have that big name, they know him worldwide, but you talk to your favorite fighter, you bring Nate name up,
They know.
They know.
respect.
They know.
Well, that's when you know when you're truly a world-class
See,
fighter.
a lot
When
of
you have the
boxing
respect of your
fans-
peers.
Boxing fans like to bash fighters, man. They bash
Yeah.
them.
They have no
That
idea.
Canelo's not good. Come on. That kid, you see his progression from the beginning to
Who, Canelo?
now. He mastered the game of
Yeah.
boxing. He's a Mexican. Take punches off,
Yeah.
boxes.
I don't like Canelo, I'll be
You
honest
can't
with you.
teach that. He put his time into that. He put his work in the gym to be where he's
Bro,
at.
he fought, listen, Nate was a 126, 130 pound fighter naturally. He fought at like 43 years old. He fought Danny Garcia on a week's notice.
I remember that.
And gave Danny Garcia hell. And that shit was at 140. And Nate wasn't even in the gym. Nate went to the gym just to get the weight off because they paid him good. And
He wanted to fight me. My designer, Maggie's make Nate clothes.
Maggie's
an accident. Come on, Macho, let's fight.
Yeah, Maggie's.
Maggie wasn't no fight.
Is she still making clothes, by the way?
I haven't spoken to Maggie in years. I don't know.
Damn, she made the best outfits. The best. She made Nate the flyest shit ever. She used to come to the fights and stuff. She's a great person. Her husband was a fighter or something, right? Or like her son or something?
Who?
Maggie? Or she was like
Her husband.
Yeah. Have you met Nate?
Nah.
You never met Nate?
Oh, no, no. He follows me on Instagram, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never met him.
Shout out to Nate Campbell, the Galaxy Warrior, my dog. One of my oldest friends. You know, when I was like 14, Nate was training with Buddy and Vero.
Buddy McGirt,
Yeah. And I used to get on the Greyhound from here, and I would go stay with him in Vero. And that's like the best time of my life, man. You know, you're 14 years old. You know, I love boxing. I'd walk in the gym, and it's like, here's Arturo Gatti. Here's Sean Bay Mitchell. Here's Angel Manfredi. Here's Emmanuel Gustit, Emmanuel Burton.
You got the whole HBO roster in there.
Etienne,
Yeah.
and they're all there just capping it up. And let me tell you something. Nate was fucking all of them up.
All of them?
All of them. Every single one. Who do you want?
Got
Angel
it.
Manfredi.
Well,
Listen, Angel Manfredi had a big fight. They put. I don't know why they had Nate spar with him like a week and a half before the fight. He had one of those big Everlast headgears that you can't get through that thing if you want to. Nate hits him with an overhand right, cuts Angel. That gets like 12 stitches. Like a week and a half before the fight, Nate's bombing overhand rights and shit on this guy. Because that's just the kind of guy Nate is. If you're gonna, you put Nate in there with his mom, and he's gonna throw overhand rights at his mom.
What you think, Camacho?
100% what you're saying.
Yeah.
Nate's a dog.
He's a dog.
You ever sparred him?
Nah, it's wild, but my thing about me, I never spar other fighters.
Oh.
All fighters I potentially fight with, I never spar. You never know you can clash. They don't give you a secret to it.
Yeah.
But Nate, when it comes to sparring, I just know what he's saying. It's a dog. You don't care if you assist him.
Yeah.
How many rounds do 3 rounds? Like, you ready to hold 3 rounds. He come for your
I've
ass.
seen him spar girl fighters. He sparred this girl, Brenda Vickers, who was a fighter. She was a lady. And I mean, he's fucking just lining her up, bro. You know, like jabbing low to get her to drop her hands and reaching over the top and hitting her with hooks.
Full strength?
Yeah. And so I think he dropped her, or like he dropped her.
I'm sure of it.
And her husband, who ended up actually robbing like a bank and shooting up a crazy dude, gets all hot, jumps in the ring like, yo, what are you doing? With Nate. And Nate's like, what are you talking about? I wasn't even closing my hands. I wasn't even closing my hands. It's like, come on, dog. You were just... See, but it's not because she was a woman he was taking advantage. No, it's because she was in there fighting him. And that's just the only way he knows how to do it.
Yeah.
That's all he knows how to do.
The switch went off.
Yeah, man, the dude loves to fight. The thing is he doesn't expect you to not be bombing him either. He wants you to bomb.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to fight.
He probably has mentality that when he goes there, no matter what, it's dog eat dog, and it's not gonna be him.
Yes.
How about Gotti? How about when he sparred Gotti? What was that like?
I wasn't there. I think he did say he sparred Gotti. I've seen Gotti spar plenty of times, but I'll tell you what, like at that point, you know, listen, at that point in Nate's career, that was like before the Casamayor fight, nobody was touching him anywhere. You know? In the gym, it didn't matter. I don't care who you were at that time. You weren't fucking with Nate. Like, he was just in one of those zones where he was beating everybody's ass, regardless of where you were in the sport. And, you know, I saw him spar Sean Bay Mitchell. You know, shout out to Sean Bay, but he got that one.
Yeah, I remember Sean Bay.
Yeah, Sean Bay Mitchell's a great fighter too. Great fighter. Southpaw. Another tough guy that like came up the hard way, you know what I'm saying? Club shows and shit, became a world champion. Fought Costa Zoo. I think he fought Costa Zoo twice. Yeah.
Twice, yeah.
To get in the ring with Costa Zoo 2 times, bro, you gotta be a pretty bad individual, you know. And I'm sure he was getting paid good, but you know, boxing money's gotten a lot better these days than it was back then. So,
Yeah, that's what they say.
yeah.
There's a lot more money available.
Sean Bay was a great dude, man. I actually like, I drove in the car with Sean Bay and his trainer from Bureau to the swap shop, which was like, I don't know, probably like a 2-hour ride. They're just real cool, man. He was getting ready to fight a big fight. I don't know who it was. Wait, Sean Bay fought Floyd?
Floyd, I was gonna say, yeah, in 2005 he fought Floyd. 2005.
In Portland.
Portland. That was Floyd's last fight, not in Las Vegas.
Sean Bay came up in Washington, D.C., was holding boxing down. They had Keith Holmes.
Keith Holmes,
They had Joppy.
Joppy.
It's Cody, Chop. They had
Chop was
Cody.
a bad dude, too.
Washington, D.C. always...
Chop Chop's still fighting.
Ask myself, what city produced better fighters? Because you got Detroit, you have Michigan, you have the boys in Crux, you have the boys in New York, you have different areas had their fighters. Cincinnati had their boys, yeah.
Remember in the amateurs back Region 3, Washington, D.C. was in Region 3.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, they would wear the Grant stuff, the silver stuff. Like, yo, when you fought someone from Washington, D.C. Region 3, you knew
Yeah.
it was pump time, bro.
Washington, Philadelphia,
Yeah.
Jersey, the area, Cincinnati, you have to fight. Michigan, you have to fight.
You knew
Mexico, you have to fight.
You knew what time it was.
How about South Florida? Back in them days.
No, like we were saying, man, dogs. These kids, listen, I'm telling you right now, if you take all the amateurs from South Florida, other than Sasha and Eric Tudor, and you put them in with the boys from back then, from 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you would have nothing but straight L's, all the way across the board. Even the thing is that these kids were a lot more prepared to fight. You know what I mean? Now they'll just throw kids in just for the fuck of it. You know, it's like, okay, live to fight another day. But back then, you had 10-year-old kids that were waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning because they wanted to win bad.
It meant the world to them.
Yeah, they were crying and shit if they didn't win. You know, there was no live to fight another day. Everybody wanted to win. You know, that's the problem with the local amateur scene now. I feel like people just like... And listen, man, losses are part of the sport. I'm all about that. Like, losses are part of the sport. Like, this whole undefeated thing is bullshit. But if you go into a fight and you don't care whether you win or lose, that's a problem.
That's why Glenn Johnson is one of my favorite fighters. I love Glenn Johnson. He fought on all comers.
That guy's a legend, man.
Legend.
The road warrior.
This is Showtime, Sean Porter. This is Aerosmith Jr. Hey everyone, this is Jesse Vargas. You're watching True School Sports. You're watching True School Sports. All right. And you're watching True School Sports.